Oh boy. I'm gonna be talking to myself for like what? Like 30 minutes? Alright. I'm ready to do this. Okay. I can do this. Just sit down. Welcome one, welcome all. It is such a pleasure to finally sit down and talk to you all instead of using some stupid shit like subtitles, also at a quality that is absolutely terrible. Now, what is this video you're watching? Well, something completely new to me. A Comic-Con-esque presentation. Welcome to DSSC, Dino-Side Song-Con. That sounds fucking stupid, but I'm gonna keep it in because I love that title. I have a lot of new and exciting things planned for this little universe of mine, and for the most part, I'm confident that I'll get a lot of it work done during the remainder of this year. Oh my god, okay. I'm keeping that in because it's funny. Do not come into this presentation expecting any new things that I reveal to come out this year. While I am sure that progress will be made, nothing is concrete with, well, me. I'm just a dude working mostly on his own with quite possibly the greatest voice crew known to mankind, so just please be patient with me. First things first, however. We need to take a look back at what things have been We need to take a look back a bit at what things have recently been finished and or revealed. A lot of these were some big heavy hitters for me in terms of my composition skills. Now, what exactly is Phase 5? Well, sit down and allow me to explain things. You sit down! Sit down! You see, recently, I decided to split the DS-verse into phases, much like what's seen in the likes of Marvel and DC, you know, that kind of deal. Although I believe I do it a bit better. Things from the very early days, much like Relic of the Woods to stuff like the Executor. Those are Phase 1. Everything from playing along that Lord X song I did years ago to Quartet of Terror Classic, which is the original. I'm trying to subtitle things to make it a lot easier to explain. That stuff is in Phase 2. And things like Reach Farther, that like I'm Here cover Dread did a while back, and I need to redo that one because oh my god, that kind of sucks. Well, not the cover itself, it's just the music itself would need an upgrade. Stuff like that to Rig to Kill are Phase 3, and then finally, stuff like that OMT song I did to Mirage in Paradise are categorized as Phase 4. Now that that's explained, and you probably don't get it, but might as well just keep going. Let's go through Phase 5 to get everyone else up to speed. Genesis. Probably one of, if not the most important song out of all these in this phase. This song would not have been possible without the glorious talents of both Dark for voicing both the main protagonist and antagonist, but also Jam for making the glorious art scene throughout. It showcased the origin of your favorite. Why did I write it like that? And how he came to be, but that does not mean I'm done explaining his origins. We'll get to that later. Pandora's Box, one of my more experimental songs, taking a song I've already made And, you know, deciding it. Wasn't easy, obviously, but it sure was fun. This was the origin of the D-Side variant to the Dino-Side universe. And of course, the coolest armadillo of them all, King Tethered. Voiced by the gloriously talented Drev, of course. Oh boy, Duet of the Depths. Now this one was a lot of fun. I remember the premiere of this one fooling you all into thinking I would remake the Executor, as I had even tried to remix the original patterns to keep into that illusion. I actually do want to do that at some point, actually remixing that song, because that Lord X voice I tried to use to kind of mimic the original tone the Execution had. Oh, that sucked. Oh, that sucked. Also, quick little note that I forgot to mention, Not Enough Trouble Retied was a pleasure to be part of, and Ospec, thank you so much for letting me be around the Net franchise for this long. I would have so much more to say, but this was a very late add-on bit. I don't know how I forgot this. I was probably really tired when I was making this script, but yeah. Bleh. However, there we go. All shit broke loose once Zeus was out of the equation. To be quite honest, though, I do think this one could use a revamp. Maybe not soon, but absolutely at some point in the future. And if only there was a way of, proving such a thing. Ain't that a hoot? Moving on. Yes, Raven's Eye. Probably the easiest to explain. Simply my way of honoring my father's legacy put onto myself, as this is essentially a retake on one of my Father's Day gifts to him a couple years back. I hope I can gain the courage to finally show this to him, as I've been a bit afraid to. I don't know why. It's just, I'm afraid of showing stuff to people, like, publicly. It feels weird. Ah, yes, the inevitable. The DS-verse equivalent to the Big Bang. Nothing much to say, other than the fact that it sparks the need for change, or order, or a new way of doing things. It was fun. Nothing much to say. Now, I'm gonna be completely deadass right now. I didn't plan to make this one at all. Cobalt did. Since it was good, I figured I could stick it into the S-verse as a fun little side story to expand the universe just a bit more. Yeah, none of Spineless Comedians was planned. He just made it because he thought it could. Oh boy. Yes, probably my most ambitious Dino-Side related project so far. Expanding the DS-verse beyond just the Sonic, Friday Night Funkin', and Undertale aspects of it. In this little featurette, I introduced the idea that if I had decided to create the DS-verse idea a bit later in my life, I would have based it around stuff not like the old stuff, like stuff which Productions would make. For example, I showed off concepts for Uzi and Ends designs, and I even played around with how each assembly drone would have slightly different tones of white to distinguish them just a little bit more from each other. I also showed off a huge chunk of the I can't say the abbreviation because that sounds weird. The Amazing Digital Circus cast in my Dino-Side style, and how their virtual reality progression worked, and with Pomni obviously showing the most on it. With her eyes having the Martian and VR headset. I thought that was clever. Shut up. With I also played in Pomni's original name being just gibberish X. That sounds terrible. Let's try again. and I gave the rest of the cast similar 5-letter code names to coincide with their personalities and characteristics. It was extremely fun and relieving to do after so long of being stuck with only a few properties to make content about. However, trust me on this, there will be more to this side of the universe. Just you wait. But all that was stuff you already knew about. How about we get into stuff you don't? Now, I cannot reveal everything shown here, as it would spoil the surprise of all my plans. However, I would like to go over certain aspects of it. Let's take a look at this first one over here. And some of you might actually recognize not only the name, but the sound that's associated with it. Can't believe I'm saying this, but that's right. Five Nights at Freddy's is officially getting a Dino-Side counterpart. I have been hard at work trying to get things finalized with the designs of the story. So trust me when I say this, you all are going to love what I've been working on here. It's absolutely fun. With this entry of What If, I wanted to reveal the truth of these quote-unquote alternative realities. They aren't. They're actual events and stories that have occurred on YSH354. That sounds weird saying it out loud. Anyway, this does in fact mean that yes, the previous entry of What If is canon to Dino-Side. You will understand soon enough, but perhaps you already do. We took a closer look at this image I posted on my community tab. Take a good long look, and you'll see a very special someone. You could say that she snuck up on you. Now, looking a bit forward, I would like to point out that none of this release order is final, which is why I haven't been giving dates to these. I wish for things to be ready when they actually are, and to be quite honest, nothing here is truly ready, and I'm sorry. However, that doesn't mean the future won't be exciting. The direct sequel to Mirage in Paradise. We see Sonic and Boyfriend, I call him Chip because there's a whole lore reasoning for Boyfriend still having like the chip bracelet. I want to explain that in more detail, but trust me, the sheet I came up with for the lore is probably the most extensive thing you've ever seen from this universe, so I don't think you're ready for that yet. Okay, so we see them recovering from the sudden transformation of their dear friend Mirage. Would their friend be lost in time, or is he still in there? Much like the Werehog, only time will tell. I can also confirm that Ospec will return to reprise his role as Mirage. He did such a great job in Mirage in Paradise with his pure and raw laughter and ramblings. I felt honored to bring him back, and he willingly agreed to be back. Now, on to some more stuff that I believe all of you will very much like. Now, I can't explain exactly what this one is just yet, but I believe you can maybe figure it out from just the visual alone. Just know, it's planned to be one of the most important songs in this new act of the Dino-Side verse. No hints, only this graphic. Now, remember when I said I wasn't done explaining Rings' origins? Let's take a look at this one right here. Yes! That's right! I'm finishing this one! Well, that actually came out pretty good. This one is intended to take place right before Genesis, explaining how Rings was summoned into Mobius, and what led this piece of the Sonic world to why I say 354. However, that isn't the only reason I'm making this one. That's right! That one project I mentioned where I'd be going over how I make a Dino-Side track will release at exactly the same time as Reflexivania. Oh, I gotta get used to how I pronounce it, as it will tackle the tips and tricks involved in the production of it. In fact, I guess I can give you a little comparison from the original to the Dino-Side variant. Alright, next up, probably the two biggest projects in this phase. Here, I don't know how to transition in this statement because the thing I wrote down sucks, because I explain it later. Anyway, whoa! Let's start off a bit small. Let's go over Exiled Past first. Ah yes, my answer to Mario's Madness. When the mod release, it truly felt like a phenomenal time in history. It doesn't even feel like that long ago. Final song, unbeatable. Certainly assisted in this feeling. However, the difference between this and the original Unbeatable is that I'm not going over Nintendo's history, I'm going over mine. Mario, Sonic, Crash, Guitar Hero, all that shit you saw me being interested in when I was younger, all of it is going into this one. I'm putting every piece of history that I was into this one. However, I will go over one very specific detail regarding this one. And it's something I wish I don't have to reveal, but I'll be very vague. You have seen the antagonist before. He stars in he doesn't star in it, but he is very much involved in a project I was extremely involved in, but it was a project I did not create. I will not specify what project. And finally, the grandest of them all, the Realm of Chances. My true answer to Final Escape. This has been in the works for so long, 2 years. Yeah, I remember, 2 years. And only recently have I begun to settle on what the music will be like. Yeah. Blocks has been extremely helpful in the creation of the lore and sound going into this big boy. If I had to give it a possible length that I believe would cap off the sonic.exe arc at Dino-Side in a beautiful way, 25-30 minutes. See that last one over there? I'm not going over that one. I want there to be at least one complete surprise going into this new phase of Dino-Side. I do, however, completely unresolved around this. I do wish to go over a few select bits that either couldn't go up here due to them being too specific, or couldn't go up here due to them being too generalized to fit in this sort of timeline-esque deal. Going over all three of these. I'm not leaving any of them out. Okay. Let's remind ourselves of what I mentioned in the previous What If segment. The truth of these alternate realities is that they aren't. They're actual events and stories that have occurred on YSH 354. Does this imply that stories like Murder Drones and the Amazing Digital Circus play out their entire series run in the Dino-Side version, just like their source material? Well, to an extent, yes. Obviously, things are shifted around, like slight personality changes. Like, for example, I had a thing going on, like I didn't mention this, but one of my theories in this universe is that, for the most part, and in the original Murder Drones versus like 90% good boy, 10% evil, like mischievous boy. I think in this, or not mischievous, more serious, but I think in this version, I'd go 75-25 to kind of ease up the, to kind of rise tension, and to probably add on to the stakes of the universe. I thought that'd be fun. And obviously stuff like designs are changed. Like, for example, the whole eye thing with the disassembly drones and the worker drones. The colors are swapped. I just thought that'd make them stand out a bit more. But for the most part, the story of each of the verses are 90% identical to their original counterparts. In fact, I want to go over something. The main difference with Sonic in the main universe and this universe is the fact he doesn't transition to his modern design. No. He's still classic Sonic. It's just, when Rings inhabits his body, like as a parasite, think like Venom. Venom! I can't do like a good Eddie Brock Venom voice like from the movies. I can't do that. But think Venom in that, like, he's a parasite. And when as he stretches, as he's in his body, he forcefully makes Sonic into his modern counterpart, which is why in stuff like Mirage in Paradise, which is after Quartet of Terror Encore, you see him in a more modern counterpart look. That's because Ring stretched his body so far that it forced his evolution to go that way. But for the most part, before Dino-Side, in this specific universe, he didn't turn into modern Sonic around Adventure. He just didn't. He didn't have the growth spurt. Let's go back to what I was talking about, how the story of each of these universes is 90% identical to the original counterparts. In Murder Drones, there's a character I specifically left out in the original video because I was not ready to take on the challenge of just creating a design for them yet. I wanted to do them justice. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to finally showcase to you the Dino-Side design for Sinwalker. Now, I can immediately tell a lot of you will be noticing the drastic change in her attire. However, there is a very good reason for this. As I was watching episode 8, I noticed a lot of shots involving Sinwalker look kind of odd, with her wearing Tessa's dress as she likes to stretch around and be a bit goofy, and like it kind of looks like it'd be a bit painful to be in, like I mean, I know she slays, but like she's in heels and a whole maid dress. That just doesn't sound comfortable. So, with the design I made, I wanted to give her a bit more of an athletic kind of attire by splitting the dress in half and giving her Tessa's spacesuit for her lower half, which, allows for her to, stretch around and be a bit more goofy. Think Spinel, like how she's almost stretchy. Think her character. It also allows for the return of her little knife scene in her concept art, as it's hidden in Tessa's gold gun holster. There are also a lot of other differences you can notice, like her right eye being where the emotions take place. This will allow for scenes where one eye will represent the solver and the other will represent Sin herself. You can notice other differences, but I feel like a lot of them are either too subtle to explain or, are extremely self-explanatory. One last little bit of her. She has a voice, not saying who. And this next one will probably be my bravest announcement to make. That's right. I'm opening art commissions. Yeah, it took long enough for someone of my talent to start doing it. I was mostly afraid of how to go, but I believe I am truly ready. If you wish to contact me about setting up a commission for you, DM me on Twitter and I'll try to get you in as soon as possible, given it isn't extremely late for me. If you have any questions about what I should do or what I should draw, I will do my best to answer any questions you may have for me. Yippee! Finally, I will leave you all with a little melody I created to keep all of you satiated while all this goes on in the background. It will have little sneak peeks into some of the projects revealed tonight. However, you have to figure out which is which. I'm not giving you any hints. I'm just letting you listen. I thank you all for your time. Hope to see you all next year when all these are hopefully done. Much love to all of you. Peace.